Hey everyone, we're down some country roads again here in Oklahoma, and this is Brushy Creek Cemetery, and this is in Grady County, Oklahoma. There's not much to the entrance of this cemetery, just these wooden posts that kind of designate what it is. And this is another one of those cemeteries that's kind of abandoned. And we're gonna go up in here and see what we can find. Got some cedar trees here. Very overgrown. I'm not exactly sure how many markers are in here or who is in here, if we can find anything. It's extremely overgrown. Lots of limbs down and stuff like that. Critters digging through here, rutting the ground, maybe some wild hogs, armadillos. Trying to just look for headstones. I'm not even exactly sure how far back this cemetery goes. I think it's a ways through these woods before you get to it. Look at that, all hollowed out right through there. It's been down there so long. Really having a duck to get down underneath these trees. Okay, here's a marker right over here. Like I said, I could be skipping some and not even know it. See who this is for. W.F. McDaniel, 1852 to 1923. And then Sarah Mandy McDaniel, 1852 to 1915. So he lived longer than his wife right there. They were born the same year. First marker we found. Try to do a scan up underneath the trees. This is certainly way overgrown. And there are some houses here nearby, but my guess is the family members of those that are interred in this cemetery have long since passed away themselves and moved off, something like that. Here's some markers right over here. Look at that. Look at the side of that. There are quite a few in there. You can see barbed wire fence surrounding this cemetery. There is a big den of some sort of critter right there. A lot of dirt there, freshly dug dirt, and it has a big hole. I really don't know what that would be. But look at the markers. Just kind of looming up out of the brush. Several in through here. Like I said, hopefully there are no snakes. Seeing crane flies, so that means a lot of mosquitoes, since they like to eat them. And what do we have? Parthenia, wife of G.C. Gage, born October 9th, 1850, and died November 28th, 1890. Love that marker all dark like that. There's actually a Mason symbol right at the top there. So, that is interesting. We have another one right over here. You know, you got to watch your step. You see that hole right there? I thought it was a grave that had maybe sunken in or had been grave robbed or something, but it's another critter that has dug. This is lots of mosquitoes. Yeah, they're buzzing around. I even sprayed and they really don't care, it looks like. This is James H., son of J.N.S. Kirkendall, born November 27th, 1882, and died September 18th, 1900. You can see it's a nice marker. It's actually got the name down here too. Trying to watch my step for snakes and for those holes. This is another one here, and it has really worn down as well. This is another Kirkendall. This is Francis, born in 1891 and died in 1891, November 8th to November 10th. Not very old, 2 days old. And then Ellen, born November 8th and died December 8th, 1891. And they are the daughters of J.S. and Kirkendall family. And that has fallen off of there. Nice monument, actually. But this cemetery is certainly neglected. See one more marker over there. Thought we would look through some of the brush here. Look at all this brush. The lower points of this is up to my pockets. The higher points are up to my sternum in this cemetery. So this is a severely overgrown cemetery. Trying to just look for markers in this. At the same time, be careful where I step because of the critter holes. Look here. This is what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're stepping over or around. The unfortunate thing about this marker is the writing looks like it was on the other side. So it has fallen face down to where we can't read the writing. And I don't exactly want to disturb that and be responsible for breaking it. It normally would have a rod going through there, and it has snapped off, I guess. Just over time, leaned and rusted and broke, I guess. But there could be markers in any of this through here, as we just saw with that one. And snakes too. So hopefully they're going the other way with me talking. We know there's one there. I was just trying to check this pile of brush through here and make sure that we weren't skipping another one. And there's really no telling if there are more in here. I almost completely walked by that one right there. Now these other, okay, I see some markers over there up in that brush. We're gonna look at this one first. And trying to keep a scan to the left and the right as I'm walking over to this, as well as down. And this is an upright one. So am I stepping on one? No, that's a log there. So this is Cecil F., born December 3rd, 1896 and died June 10th, 1898. I do not see a last name on there, unless there's something on the other side. There is some writing on the other side. This is Archie A., born in 1898 and died in 1899. Again, no last name. No last name at all. And there's one right here. Okay, on this side it does say, Children of J.W. and M. Stone, is what that says. I see one marker right over there. Let's head over this way. There's actually some old plants. Swat the mosquitoes. Like I said, did spray, but it is so thick, they don't care. Must be time to respray. But look at that right there. Those are old plants. Not exactly sure if they're daffodils or what. You can see where they've planted them over here. Old tradition in these old cemeteries like this. And you can see where an armadillo, that's probably an armadillo, has been rooting around. Samuel Wolford, 1870 to 1931. And then it says Meadows down at the bottom, so maybe Wolford is the middle name. That one's in really good shape. Still standing upright. Love the beauty in that marker right there. Pretty neat little cemetery, I think. And, you know, it kind of clears out through here, but whenever I see more plants like that and I don't see a marker, it does make me think that there are other grave markers right there. Now, this is more of a newer one. Last name Meadows. Daughter Myrtle, 1908 to 1908. Infant daughter, 1907. And then we have Mother Myrtle, 1884 to 1908. And Father S. Turner, 1873 to 1947. He certainly lived the longest. Nice upright marker in here. We'll just do a little scan to see if there's any others up underneath this brush. And I do see, check that one out right there. There is a piece of like sandstone, flagstone. It is certainly marking somebody, as you see there, but there are no etchings on it, no writings. And there's one right next to it, next to that log, to the left, right in front of that log. I'd point, but I'm also holding branches from slapping me in the face. But yeah, that's someone else's grave right there. Not everybody has money, especially in the old days, for markers, so they would find a rock and then bury them. Definitely hidden in there. It's very tricky because there's pieces of wood that have fallen, limbs, and they kind of look like, well, look at there. Look at that snake. It's so black. I actually thought that snake was a belt for a car. You see that booger right there? Black snake. I don't know what kind it is, but looking at the head of it, it is not a venomous snake, at least that I can tell. I'm a turtle expert, but not a snake expert. Don't like snakes of any kind, but we'll leave him be. I don't want the thing crawling on me no matter what kind it is. So one thing we've confirmed, and that is that snakes are definitely in here. So this cemetery goes a ways back. Armadillo shell right there. Don't see the rest of the body, so it's been carried off. But here we have, looking for snakes again. Another one of the animal burrows right there. And there's a marker right up there too. This is a funeral home marker right here. But nothing designating anybody. That is long gone right there. Long gone. No name. There's one right here. Hopefully no snakes. And this is the Meadows family too. Looks like 1855 to 1923. Let's see. Maybe you guys can see the name. It looks like J.T. Meadows. Then we have an infant here. This is Pearl, daughter of M.V. and L.M. Meadow, born January 20th, 1908, and died February 16th, 1910. It's leaning a little bit, but it's still in really good shape. Now this one is dangerous right here. It's very much leaning. It's leaning big time. L.M., wife of M.V. Meadows, born in 1875, October 6th, and died November 26, 1911. It says Meadows down at the bottom. This is one that you really don't want to get close to, especially on the side that it's leaning. That falls on you out here. There's no one really out here to rescue you. And it could kill you. Every once in a while you hear of someone being killed in a cemetery. Kind of ironic, I know, but by these markers. And that weighs a lot more than what you might think. There is another marker right there. We're going to kind of go around to avoid walking in front of that, like I was saying. And looking in the woods here, there are more of those plants. I think that's where we came from. And let's see here. This is kind of a different shaped one. It's supposed to be on top of the base there. There's a book on the Bible, closed book, like as if it's a closed book on life or a Bible. The gates of heaven are opening and there's a dove flying in the middle. Mary J. Meadows, born January 27th, 1842, and died in July 30th, 1923, I believe. Nice looking marker. The ground is kind of tilted, sunk, and so these have kind of been damaged a little bit. This is Bertha Walton Foster, so this is a different name. Born February 14th, 1917, and died October 26th, 1921. Young one there, a little lamb on top. And we have another one right here. Geneva E. Bauer, March 7th, 1912 to July 14th, 1912. And then there's an angel right here in the middle. Love the growth on it. I'm not sure if we're at the back of the cemetery or not. Very dangerous in this cemetery with those holes. Okay, we are at the back of the cemetery. It's hard to see if there are any other markers back up in through there. I don't believe that there are with a kind of a scan. It's deceiving because there's so many branches down. You never know if you could be passing over one. Now, right here is one. That is one right here that I just stepped on. I could feel it. Now, whether or not that is a base, it looks like it's a base to one. It's definitely a, it could be the border to this one now that I'm looking at it. There's some cinder blocks right here. And then I'm feeling the border underneath my feet. So that is part of the border. It's very difficult to tell which way they run, but see, you can see part of this border right here. You can see where this one either is an old critter hole or another grave that is sunk down in there. Not exactly sure. Trying to look up underneath the trees for more. There's critter holes all over. Obviously, some of these are armadillos. I don't know what all of them are. Some of them are pretty good size. So you can see little trails going through here, and they've bedded down. There's actually some cactus right here. Somewhere through here, I think there was another one. Bugs aren't quite as bad in the open as what they are in these woods. Yeah, here's one right here that we saw. We did not see, but I saw from a distance. And this is A.L. Grunson, Grunson, born September 25th, 1848, and died December 2nd, 1911. That's in good shape too, really. You're kind of protected by these woods right here, so that does help. But this is what I'm talking about. These cedar trees often mark graves. Could be any in that brush right there, we don't know, that are lower lying. There's a farmstead right over there, but this would be a chore to try and restore, fix up. You can see these trails from different animals. Something going off through there. Think a little bird or rabbit maybe. Just kind of scanning around, looking for more graves through here. It's a decent sized cemetery, really, for a little bitty country cemetery. I'm sure all these relatives have moved on, maybe moved to the big city, moved to another state, passed on themselves, moved on to somewhere else. So no one is left to maintain the cemetery. Not seeing any others right offhand. Like I said, got a lot to look for. Looking for snakes, of course. And then looking for those burrows or any other indentions in the ground that I could twist and break my ankle, sprain my ankle, But I am not seeing any others. So that might be it on this cemetery. I see one over there. Is it one we visited already? Oh, no. There's one over there. And I don't know if we visited that one. We may have, but we definitely didn't see this one. Look at the cows over there. We got some Angus and we got some Longhorns. They hear me stirring over here and they're probably not used to the noise. Probably creeping them out. Let's see who we have here. This is a military marker, a government marker. Very interesting to find. Let's see who we have. This is John Clarence, Oklahoma Private in the 331st Infantry, 83rd Division, October 22nd, 1932. And that one is really leaning too. Could use some straightening. Not real hard to straighten those. This is a kind of cemetery that could probably use some help. I'm curious if there are any relatives in the area somewhere near Grady County, Chickasha. Trying to do a quick scan up underneath the brush. Oh, look here. See how easy it is to skip these? They kind of blend in with the leaves. Now this is one they've kind of stamped in there with some lettering, and then they kind of etched into it with like a nail or something. C.W. Reed, born 1873 and died in 1927. There's one over here. So I don't think we saw either one of these, or we would have noticed that other one. Okay, getting scraped, scratched. This is another interesting one. I guess maybe that's intentional, a jar of something there. Who knows how old? Old rock designating the grave. This has kind of sunken down in the ground. Let's see if we can read it from this side. Little baby. Definitely a newer marker there. Eddie Payne, May 11th, 1911 to May 29th, 1911. This is one of those cemeteries where you really don't know how many are really in here. Now these, some of these trees have been here a while. But there are certainly a bunch that could be covered up by trees and brush, little saplings. But I do think for the most part we have explored this cemetery, because no, that is a different one. That is a funeral home marker there, and it has a piece of paper in there but it is no longer legible. But that's an old one. They don't make metal ones anymore. They're all plastic from what I've seen. So they could be anywhere in here. Walking through spider webs. Here is a piece of stone there marking somebody. Kind of almost looks like they might have had writing on there, but it's worn down. It is certainly an old one. So that's going to do it from this little cemetery visit. It's certainly an overgrown cemetery, an old cemetery. You can tell it was active at one time. And it's pretty good size. There must have been a lot of people in this area at one time, and there still are people here. But I think all the relatives and the loved ones who cared for this cemetery are now gone, moved away, died themselves. Not sure, but it's a neat little cemetery to explore. And I thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you guys next time.